Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Complete My Collection Challenge. This is a series dedicated to hunting down the rare Funko Pops that I've wanted in my collection for a while now, but I started this series with a $0 budget. Current balance remains the same from the last episode, $475.87. Haven't sold anything since the last episode, so like I said, the balance remains the same. Still have a good amount of stuff in my inventory. If you ever want to buy anything from me, guys, you can always reach out to me on Instagram. I also sell things on Whatnot. If you're a first-time user as well, on Whatnot, you can get $15 off your first purchase. So if you want to purchase one of those things and get a discount, wait for my next auction, you definitely can. Also, another little side note, I've been promoting this in the last couple of videos, guys, but I have a goal to reach 70,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and you guys are doing awesome so far. So if you haven't subscribed already, hit the subscribe button down below. Leave a like too, you might as well. But today, folks, I'm gonna go out to, my thrift stores, my media stores, that kind of stuff, see if I can find even more inventory to find things that I can sell to add more money back into my budget to buy more rare pops. Should be a fun time, guys, and without any further ado, let's get it started. Here we go. Starting off at a handful of different thrift stores, guys, I found some out-of-box pops right here with the glowworm, which they have a glow-in-the-dark one and the normal one. With boxes, these usually go for around like $30 for the pair, but I don't know, maybe I should have kept those ones. I'm just not quite sure who would be interested in glowworm pops. I'm sure there's somebody out there, but went to the same Savers a couple days later, and guys, their prices are insane. They're wanting $7.50 for this Mickey Mouse that's missing a nose. I don't understand some of their pricing for out-of-box sometimes, but Luisa right here from Encanto, $7.49 as well, which this will be kind of ironic. You guys will, figure out at the end of the video why I say that, but another one, you got Mirabelle right there for $7.49. Yeah, definitely not the best of deals for out-of-box. Like I said, anything, at least for me, $5 and under is what I like to pay, especially if it's a good one. This Aurora is not the case either, but looking around, guys, I want to show off more like older toys that I find that I think are interesting. This Hopper from A Bug's Life, this is obviously, vintage, probably, I would imagine from, the late 90s, early 2000s. A talking Hopper usually goes for like $30 with a box. Out of box, maybe it was a pickup, I don't know, but figured I'd show that off. We have George Holistic right here from Seinfeld, goes for around $7. They're asking $7 for it. Seinfeld, they made so many of those pops, but a lot of those are duds. I don't even think any of them really have value, but looking around, seeing what other things that I can find, guys, we have this Black Panther Walmart exclusive, and this is tanked in price quite a bit. They're asking $10.99 for this guy in a box, and he probably doesn't even go for like $5. Well, it's closer to what they're asking for, but I'd be interested to see if any of these end up going up in price with the new season of Stranger Things that's going to be coming out here in about a month or so. But going over to yet another Savers, guys. We're going to all the different Savers today. All those Conan pops, which I think were video maybe like a couple videos ago, but yeah, none of those are worth picking up. And then I found this pop from the movie Us, and yeah, not a bad pop, but if it was in better condition, it definitely would have been a good one to pick up. I can't even get it to stand because the box is so bad right there. But going over to their loosed figure section, they had a lot of different like Disney and Harry Potter. You can see McGonagall, Cruella de Vil is in there as well. I think Voldemort's kind of chilling back there with his head. We also have some Frozen stuff, some more Harry Potter. You can see Snape and Hermione in there, Kristoff from Frozen, and then a couple of other like Disney, Harry Potter related mixes right here. Harry without his glasses, and I think that might be Ron or maybe one of Ron's brothers behind him right there. Ursula, Elsa, and Anna as well. So lots of random stuff. Unfortunately, it wasn't worth picking up. Those were good prices though for, bundles and stuff of the out-of-box pops. We have the Thor comic cover from Target right here, $10.99, goes for maybe about $10. I'm gonna pass on that one today. And this Alexander right here from Haunted Mansion. If it was a more Haunted Mansion memorable character, it'd probably be worth a little bit more. And this box on this pop was absolutely grody and disgusting. I figured I'd just show it off to you guys. But going to Deseret Industries, seeing what they have over there. In their display case on the back right here, they had a couple different things, a lot of Ready Player One pops, and also the Skeletor ride right there. Unfortunately, those were not worth picking up. We don't even have prices on the screen for that one because they weren't worth picking up. But another Stranger Things pop in here with Steve, and also a custom pop 2-pack. Not sure who would donate that to the thrift store. Who's going to buy, custom pop 2-packs unless your name is the name that's on the front? My Hero Academia stuff. Nothing that I want to pick up, some bobbleheads in there, but that was it over at the thrift stores. I made a quick pit stop, guys, over to Gamers Asylum just to see if there's anything interesting. Somebody mentioned that I should probably pick this up because there is a glow-in-the-dark variant of this guy that goes for a good amount of money, but I don't know. What do you guys think down below? Should I take the risk? I'm not entirely sure. But one thing that I did notice, guys, over in this section over here, they had this chase right here. This is Zula for 30 and also the Green Ranger for 35. I think he goes for about 50 bucks. So if this was a personal collection piece, this would definitely be not a bad pickup. One that you do not see very often, but let me kind of double check in here and see if there's anything else. Yeah, they still have Clay Thompson right there from last time. I'm not sure if this is an older one, guys, but Annabelle for 8 bucks. I'm not sure what she goes for, but that doesn't seem terrible. And then pretty much more of the same stuff that they had. I guess there's a couple of new things in here, guys, with the Spider-Man right there, the number 45 one and number 46 Electro. Those are definitely some older pops you don't see often. The Spider-Man symbiote suit. That seems like it's not a bad deal either. All 4 of these don't seem like they're terribly priced. I'll do a little bit more research, but yeah, pretty much all the same stuff that they had before. A couple new things mixed in here and there. Alrighty, Entertain Mart. Haven't been here in a little bit, so let's go on in and see if they have anything good. Right at the front of Entertain Mart, I did notice a couple of things that were sold into them. A Christmas Carol line of pops, guys. If you didn't know, I think these came out maybe last year or the year before, but there's only one of these that actually does have value. I want to say it's like the Ghost of Christmas Past, which actually it's in this display case right here. It goes for around like $30. But other than that, I don't think any of these other ones go for much. I think the Muppets Christmas Carol ones are actually a little bit more valuable. They had a limited piece Stone Cold Steve Austin, which I didn't even know that was one of the new limited piece pops. But I guess Entertainment Mart is getting in some of those new ones. I wonder if it's like a partnership with Entertainment Earth. I would have to wonder. But Voltron, some of those pops are definitely valuable. I think we talked about that maybe in the last video. And then they had a cart of other things that were going out, guys. Screaming Shrek for 10 bucks. What else do we have in here? A Pineapple Stitch, got Kim Possible in there, the Underminer from Incredibles, we got Jimmy Neutron, Timmy Turner was right there. We also have a Mickey Mouse, Lady and the Tramp. Those are the newer ones. If they were the older ones, they might be worth picking up. A lot of different out-of-box stuff, guys. This would be a good one if they hadn't reprinted this Pennywise so many different times, the original Pennywise. This Batman's not a terrible one either from the classic TV series Batman. But inside of here, I found some decent stuff, actually, guys. A bunch of the original Firefly pops. And some of them go anywhere between like $10 to $20. This one's not a bad one at $20. You also have Malcolm Reynolds right here. That's not a bad one either. And I think, guys, looking around, we might find the whole set in here. We have another one right here. I think this is Hoborn, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I said his name wrong. But yeah, 4 out of the 5. I'll keep looking around to see if I can find the other one that's missing. I think her name is Zoe. This one's a Game of Thrones one with his head all turned around. But yeah, I'll keep looking around, see if I can find that other one. So far, I have 4 out of the 5. And lo and behold, I did find the other one. It was kind of at the bottom. But putting these all together, guys, at like, $4 a piece, selling them all together, I think they'll do pretty darn well, especially because they're an older set that you don't see very often from a show that people really love. And then looking at a couple other things, this Red Wing Robin isn't a bad one either, guys. Not a bad deal. And then we also have this Robin as Batman from Teen Titans Go. Some of those actually have some pretty good value, but I'm gonna, pass on them today. Going back to Entertainment Mart another day, guys, we have this Alphonse Elric, which that's not a terrible deal either. And we also have, what is this? Edward Elric. They've reprinted this one a bunch of times, so that $10 price point is about right. But looking around and seeing what other things that I can find, they had more out-of-box pops and a lot of Star Wars ones right here. And there was actually 2 on the top that I noticed that weren't bad. The Slave Leia goes for around $20 out of box. An older pop, I want to say it's maybe from like 2013, 2014. And then we have the Jedi Knight Revan right here. It's around like a $10 pop out of box, so that's a pretty good one as well. So I think I'm gonna pick up those ones. But looking around, seeing what other Star Wars pops that I can find in here, we have the Child, which is an interesting one, guys. They made so many of those. I think this is a version of Luke that's older, but unfortunately it doesn't have any value either. You can tell by that, old Funko mold. But looking around, the Harry Potter section had a couple of interesting figures. This Harry Potter right here, guys. 09, it goes for about what they're asking for, but there are some Harry Potter variants that are very surprising in value. So you always have to check. And this Logan was a good one, guys. It's like $100 pop in a box. And out of box, I would imagine it still has pretty good value. Has some scuffs and things on it, but I think, I think it's worth the risk at $4. So I'm gonna pick that one up for sure. And then, more bigger, set piece Star Wars pops that are out of box. Most of these, they're asking around like $7-8 for. We have the child right there. And then we have a giant one over here, in case you're wondering how much that is. They were asking 10 for it. So if you're a big child fan, that would have been a great pickup for sure, but that was it. Entertain Mart. Well, I will say it's been quite the interesting couple days at Entertain Mart. Lots of out-of-box stuff to review, guys. A couple different days worth of everything, but I'll show you here in a second everything that I got. Entertain Mart number 2 over at the Layton Hills Mall, and I went actually, okay, here's the ironic thing about this visit. So we were talking about the Encanto Pops earlier. They had all of them brand new in box for $5 a piece. That's why you always go and check all your different stores. There was no way that I was paying $7.50 for the out-of-box ones. I don't really want to pick up the in-box ones either, but it's just interesting that you find these ones perfectly new, brand new for $5 a piece. You can save like $2 or whatever and get them in box. But over in their out-of-box section, guys, Dead Yamcha, not a bad one. They're asking $2.99 for it. Goes for around $15 out of box. Definitely an interesting pop for sure. And they had all sorts of a variety of out-of-box pops, guys. This is an out-of-box pop video. If you guys want to take a look at some of the things that I'm looking through, you got Hercules right there. Definitely a Disney classic. Billy Madison, an Adam Sandler classic. All sorts of really fun stuff. I think that was Bill Nye that was back in there. Gang Orca from My Hero Academia is not a bad one either. We also have a Spirit Aang, which is a cool one. It's definitely a fun variant of Aang. But another one that I think I'm going to pick up, guys, is this Tuca right here. Usually goes for around $10 to $15 out of box, so I think that's definitely worth a pickup at $3.99. So yeah, setting those two aside for $7.49, decided to pick those two up. And yeah, that was pretty much it at the second Entertain Mart. Not bad. Back in the office, guys, and today was a very heavy out-of-box haul, and all these figures are actually pretty decent. Some have more value than others, obviously, but I think I spent a total of around $40 if I'm not mistaken. At least for me in this challenge series, I always have a rule of thumb. If I can get, good solid out-of-box pops for $5 or cheaper, then you should definitely pick them up, especially if they're older and have some value, and that was pretty much the case for all of these, I would say. But let's go over to here, guys, and we'll kind of start off from left to right. Picked up both of these at the same time, guys, with Yamcha right here and also Tuca. Yamcha is not a bad figure, guys. Usually in a box it goes for around 40. I think out of box it still goes for around 15. Tuca right here as well. It kind of depends on which variant you have, but for the most part I've seen this go for about $10 out of box. We'll kind of skip these guys. We'll come back to them here in a second, but the pops that are up here, this version of Slave Leia, from what I've been seeing, guys, out of box usually goes for around $20, so that's what I'm hoping to get out of her. She does have a little mark on like her face that for some reason I could not remove. I don't know if it was just a weird misprint or something on the vinyl itself, but we also have Jedi Knight Revan right here, which goes for about $10 out of box. Logan's kind of an interesting case. I cleaned him up pretty good. He still has a little bit of wear and tear on him, but he is an original Funko figure. I think usually in a box goes for around $100, but considering, it still has some scuffs here and there, I think I could probably get about 20 out of box still. Which brings me to the whole Firefly original set out of box, which I was pretty surprised to find all of these. I think I spent a little over $19, about $20 on all of these right here. And some of these go for, more than others, obviously, but I would say on average, most of these out of box still go for around like 13 each, which would bring my total to 65 for this bundle, giving me an estimated value of around 140 bucks, which I spent around 40. So making, close to $100 profit isn't bad at all. Like I was saying, I didn't expect to find so many out-of-box pops today, but there were so many, like, I would say solid gems that I couldn't pass them up. Especially at that price point, guys. If you ever see, like, at the stores that I go to, if you go to a similar store, you see a lot of out-of-box pops, and you know what you're looking for, it's always worth a dig, guys. You never know what you can find. But if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section below what was your favorite out-of-box pops that I came across. New York Comic Con's coming up, guys, so get excited about that. And if you see me around the con, definitely come and say hi. I've got stickers for you. But like always, guys, remember to be kind to one another. Always promote positivity. I will see you in the next video. Catch you guys later.